Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on China's television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Abuja. Tonight, I'll take you to what happened today in Abuja, where the president launched the Innovation Technology Immigration Hub in Abuja. The essence of that, we're being told, is to secure Nigeria's borders, both land, water, and air borders. So whatever happens today, what is the significance on our internal security, we'll be getting to know and hearing some of the soundbite from that event today. And also tonight, I will let you in what has happened in Zamfara state, where a lot of people are complaining there is no money, but the governor in that state today has launched what will be a benefit for the people of the state for 1 year. For the vulnerable, for the less privileged in the society. Can the state continually afford that? What is the implication to the purse of the state? A state that is battling insecurity on every front, and a lot of effort that has been made by the governor to arrest the security situation in the state. We'll be hearing how that will impact the general well-being of the people of the state. All of these get our attention tonight. But first, let me serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
A bill seeking to mandate domestic processing of at least 30% of raw materials before exportation has passed its second reading in the Senate. Sponsored by Senator Nweboyi Peter, the bill aims to amend the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act 2022, introducing provisions for local processing and production protection. During his lead debates today, Senator Nweboyi highlighted the transformative potential of the bill for Nigeria's economy. He argued that mandating local processing will boost local manufacturing industries, create jobs for Nigerians, reduce dependence on imports and the demand for foreign exchange. A member of the House of Representatives, Lawal Cholum, has defected from the Labour Party to the All Progressives Congress, adding to the list of lawmakers who have teamed up with the APC camp in the House in the last few days. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, read Cholum's resignation letter from the Labour Party during plenary today. Cholum, who represents the Barikin Ladi Riyom Federal Constituency, cited the political crisis in the Labour Party and the need for a better representation of his people as reasons for his move. And Justice Mary Ann Aneni of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Abuja, has remanded the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Mr. Yahaya Bello, in Kuje Correctional Center, pending the determination of his bail application. Justice Aneni also adjourned hearing in the 110 billion naira money laundering case brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to January the 29th and 30th and February 25th and 27th, 2025 for hearing. The judge had earlier refused to grant a bail application filed by the former governor, saying it was filed prematurely. The magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti, hearing the case between Afe Babalola and Lagos-based human rights lawyer and activist Dele Farotimi, has denied bail to Mr. Dele Farotimi in the suit filed by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Gbetokun, over alleged defamation. Farotimi was taken to court for allegedly defaming the founder of Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti. At the court hearing today, the presiding magistrate Abayomi Adeosun postponed the decision of the bail application to December 20. This happened after the police counsel Samson Osobu argued that the bail application submitted by the defendant was incomplete and not properly filed. Some members of the Southern Caucus of the House of Representatives say they have received the tax reform bills as a welcome development and will give the bill the necessary support needed to improve the tax system in the country. Following a meeting at the residence of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, the chairman of the Southern Caucus, Honorable Nicholas Mutu, briefed the press alongside some of his colleagues, where they revealed that they will consult widely over the controversial clauses to ensure all stakeholders are carried along. On the opposition by key northern leaders to the bill, the Southern Caucus said it will continue to meet with its counterparts from the north to find a middle ground on all contentious issues.
Thank you so much. There you have it, your political roundup stories. You're now up to speed. Let me tell you, one of my major story today is the attendance of President Bola Tinubu at the Nigerian Immigration's headquarters today. He commissioned the Nigerian Immigration Service Technology Innovation Complex at the Immigration headquarters in Abuja. The data complex will comprise the Command and Control Center, which is on regular migration, the NI's Data Center, the ECOWAS Biometric Card Production Center, the Interior Data Center, and 0.5 kilowatt solar power plant. The president was welcomed by the Immigration CG Nandap, Ms. Kemi Nandap, and the Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, alongside his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila. Other members of the National Assembly, Senator Adams Oshomole, were also on hand to receive the president. President Bola Tinubu says that the innovation complex will ascertain the risk level of persons entering the country, detect irregular migration patterns, and monitor unmanned borders in hard-to-reach areas nationwide. Take a listen to what the president thinks this will hold as a significance to our security, both internal and external.
Nigeria is harnessing technology to drive our process. We, at this stage, over 200 million people, a leader in Africa, must embrace technology, must embrace changes, innovation, knowledge-based opportunity to drive a process that is greater for the generality and the vast number of people. We believe that if we rejig our immigration, our air travel, we will benefit tremendously from economic opportunity it offers. Ease of entry, ease of exit.
Well, after the president, of course, there are other speeches. One that one also needs to listen to is the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo.
Under your government, it was very interesting that the correctional information management system has been deployed. And we saw the difference when we had a jailbreak years back. It was difficult getting the biometric identity of some of these people. But when we had the fraud happen in Maiduguri, in less than 3-4 hours, we had all the information already shared with all security agencies. And that led to the application of so many SPs. So the correctional information management system has been developed and fully integrated into this project as we speak.
All right. Before the president began his speech in trying to acknowledge and establish protocols, well, someone was caught in the stray bullet. Well, jokingly, the president took on the former governor of Edo State, Senator Adams Oshomole. Let me allow you to listen what the president said.
The Chairman Senate House Committee on Interior, Senator Aliu Adam Oshomole, is here. No matter how short a man is, we see the sky. God bless you.
Well, isn't that a fact anyway? No matter how tall or short you are, every man will see the sky. Well, I'd like to know. Well, let's get straight to the business of tonight. And our conversation tonight will be to speak with the governor of Zamfara State, Governor Lawal. Today, the governor launched the Zamfara State NG Care Scheme. It's a social welfare scheme to target especially the vulnerable in Zamfara State. Tonight, I'm being joined on the program live from Gusau, the capital of Zamfara State, Governor Dauda Lawal. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. All right, I don't know if you can hear me, but I can see you right there. But give us an understanding. What prompted the Zamfara NG Cares? What is this about? How many people will benefit? How long will this be for? All right, since that, so just hold on a moment, Your Excellency. I'm not able to hear you clearly, but let's go on a break, everyone. When we come back, we'll be able to establish connection properly with Governor Dauda Lawal. We'll be right back, everyone. Let's get back with our conversation with the governor of Zamfara State, Governor Dauda Lawal, who is live for us in Gusau. Apologies for that initial glitch. Technology sometimes just has a mind of its own. But I was asking you, based on the event of today, which is that social welfare scheme which you launched today. So give us an understanding. How many people are supposed to benefit? How much are they getting? How continuous will this be? How long will it be? Can you give us a summary of what this scheme is all about?
Well, thank you very much, Sharon. Good evening. Like you rightly mentioned, we launched the NG Cares program, which is a social program that is going to benefit about 44,000 people. And the program is in 4 different categories. Category number 1 is a one-off of 150,000 naira. The second category is going to be 20,000 naira on a monthly basis for good 1 year. The third program is a one-off 50,000 naira. And then the last program is for 10,000 naira monthly for 1 year. Those are the 4 categories of the program. And the beneficiaries are segmented into men and women, whereby 60% of women will benefit from this program, as well as the young men and women. I mean, the young guys that are really doing nothing on the street. So this is how the program was designed, and it was launched this afternoon, as you rightly pointed out.
Interesting. So in all of these, let us know, some of these people that are benefiting from it, are they people without jobs? We understand that they're supposed to be in the vulnerable ladder of the society. Are these people, what are your future plans? If this is supposed to be some kind of stopgap measure just to help people to be able to get by with life, what are the future plans? Because so this does not just look like a handout without a proper thinking of how people can get hold of their lives.
Well, Sharon, the first category is that of the 150,000. And that 150,000, we're looking for people like the vulcanizers, people that are doing POP, some kind of mechanics, as well as the ladies who are doing all these makeups, as well as hair salon and so on and so forth. And I'm sure this 150,000 will go a long way. And we're going to put some modalities whereby we'll make sure we check to make sure they're used for the right purpose. And for the 20,000 naira on a monthly basis for 1 year is also designed in such a way that people that are jobless will have something to do in the meantime. And what we're doing also on our own part is equipping the skills acquisition centers where these people will be fully trained to understand what life is all about so that they can go about doing their businesses on a day-to-day basis. And I believe by the time we effectively do this, that will go a long way in uplifting the lives of those people. At least they'll have something to do in the meantime. And in most cases also, we design a program whereby some kind of starter pack will be given to these people so that if they hold it well, I believe they should be able to survive beyond the 1 year period. That is how the program was designed.
What is your end goal, for example? If you look at the multidimensional poverty index for Zamfara state, and you look at the poverty figures in Zamfara state, it's something that is staggering. Those who believe that it's, those figures, the poverty rate in Zamfara state is about 60 to 70%. That means there are enormous people who are poor in the state. Is that figure what you are looking at? And if that is the case, how do you think this handout and this welfare scheme, this social welfare scheme, will change or roll back those figures and make people a bit more comfortable?
Well, Sharon, like you rightly pointed out, Zamfara State is facing multi-dimensional issues. And of course, poverty is one of the reasons. And I believe that is also one of the reasons why we're facing so much insecurity, because people are idle. So this is more like a startup. And it's a program that we're trying to measure to see how far can we go. Because it's something that we need to measure maybe within the next 6 months to see how effective that is. If there are issues, then that means we need to go back to drawing board and be able to correct some of the anomalies that is facing the program. So it's a pilot program. Let's see how this thing will work within the next 6 months. If it works fine, then we intensify the effort. If there are issues, then we go back to drawing board and be able to address those issues so that in the end, people should be able to have something doing. And if we're able to achieve that, I believe that will go a long way in sorting out some of the challenges people are facing in terms of employment, in terms of, unemployment, as well as doing nothing, just living day to day by not having anything. So I believe it's a very good start for us, and it's going to be measured to make sure it achieves the desired target set by this administration.
Over 3 million people from about 820 households are said to be facing highest number of poor persons in the country from Zamfara state. And there are a lot of people who are vulnerable. And the insecurity that has really troubled the state also has not helped issue, because productivity has been on the low, because people were not able to go to their farms. But only recently, you brought up some initiatives for people to go back to farm, for people to start producing. There are those who will think that Zamfara state is not a poor state in terms of natural resources, for example, but the people are very poor because they're stepping their feet on gold and other mineral resources that does not benefit them. They see flying above their heads gold in numbers, but they are not able to benefit from it. They are only being used as artisans in the gold mines, and their lives are not any better. So the question is that, as a governor, you are the leader of the state. What are you doing such that the people of the state, who are seen so poor, over 3 million of them that have been captured in some of the indices, are getting the benefit of what they are standing on or what have been bequeathed to them by nature?
Well, Sharon, let me also confirm the fact that, like rightly mentioned, Zamfara State is one of the few states in Nigeria that is blessed with abundant natural resources. But the question is, to whose benefit? That is number one. Number two, there are people, if you look at the population of Zamfara State, we're about 6 million people. And 70% of these 6 million people are young men and women idle, doing nothing. This is what I inherited as a governor. And like rightly pointed out also, Zamfara State has been facing insecurity within the last 10 years. But the good thing now is things are changing for the better. At least, looking at all the indices today, Zamfara is making significant progress in every indices, be it in education, be it in healthcare, be it in agriculture. At least this time around, substantial number of people were able to go to their farm, and the harvest is looking very, very good. So it's a step forward. And coupled with some of the measures we are putting in place now, in terms of some of this welfare scheme where people will be assisted to be able to stand on their own, I think we're making positive impact, and life is changing for the better. It is something that is verifiable, and it's something that you can check and confirm exactly what I'm saying. And that is that is just a fact. So it's a process. We need to start somewhere. The fact that yes, we're facing all these challenges does not mean we cannot move forward. We're making conscious effort as responsible government to make sure we take care of our people and to remove them from this poverty indices and all that, so that people will begin to be independent and do something meaningful for their life. And also, based on what we have in terms of the solid minerals, we're making conscious effort to make it a formal sector where we'll be able to generate employment for the people. And maybe if we're able to get it right, I don't think we need even to be relying on the FAC allocation. We should be able to take care of ourselves comfortably, and do something meaningful and bring about development in the state.
That sounds
It's
so
an ongoing
good.
process.
But the question is that, you are from the financial sector, so you can also get a feel of what I'm trying to drive at. There are those who believe that handouts and some of these social welfare schemes have a direct or indirect impact on the inflation of a particular people. Are you worried about a possible direct impact of inflation in Zamfara State with this scheme that you have launched today?
Well, showing inflation is a factor of both fiscal and monetary policies, which is under the control of the federal government. That is one side. On our own side, like I said, it's a state that is facing too many problems. We inherited all these problems. But what we're doing right now is to make conscious effort to be able to move away from all those challenges and begin to do things the right way. Let me say this to you now. If you come to Zamfara and you can verify this information, there are a lot of economic activities going on in the state. And that is why even the insecurity is coming down drastically. At least we're paying pensioners their money. Let me say this also, since 2011, pension and gratuity has not been paid. We're paying salaries as at when due. We increased the minimum wage. So on a monthly basis, there's about 6 to 7 billion naira circulating within the state, and it's generating a lot of economic activities. Coupled with this program that we came with now, I think it will go a long way in changing the fortune of Zamfara State. It's an ongoing process, and we'll continue to do that until we get to a very, very comfortable level within the nearest future.
What happens? Insecurity is something that you have been talking about, although there are those who also worry about inflow of money. There are more monies coming into the state due to some of the subsidy removal. And you've mentioned and you've lamented how much of debt that you have incurred, or the state has as a burden now since you got into office. But insecurity is another issue here. Just yesterday or earlier today, there are reports of bandits kidnapping about 50 women and children. It does look like we saw a lull in kidnapping activities and activities of bandits in and around Zamfara State. But it seems as though we've seen more of their activities yet again. Is it because it's going to the end of the year, Or is it because it's the dry season? Or what exactly could be the reason for some of the resurgence in the activities of these bandits that we're seeing?
Sherwin, I'm here in Zamfara State as we speak. I'm not aware of any kidnapping of 50 people in Zamfara State. I don't know where you got that information from. But so far, within the last 1 month, I have not heard of any kidnapping incident to the extent that about 50 people were kidnapped. That is not true. That is not correct. I don't know who gave you that information, but that is not true. However, we're aware of the challenges we're facing in the area of insecurity, and we're making conscious effort to tackle those issues. This is an ongoing process. It's something we inherited within the last 10 years. But what I'm saying is the good thing is things are coming down drastically. Zamfara is taking a very good shape. We're doing whatever we can to protect lives and properties of Zamfara people. And that is an ongoing process, and I believe we will not relent in this effort.
The incident I'm talking about was sometimes on Sunday evening. It was reported to have happened in the Maradun local government area of the state, precisely in the Kakidawa, Gidangoda district of this. Are you aware of that? That some children and women were kidnapped?
I'm not aware of that incident. Like I said, I am here in Zamfara State. I haven't heard about that incident. So I'm not aware that 50 people were kidnapped in Maradun local government. Whoever gave you that information, the information is not correct.
So what exactly is the story coming to you from that district and that local government in terms of those persons that are said have been taken?
You see, Sherwin, there may be some pocket of kidnapping here and there that I can't rule out. But what I'm saying is, based on all the measures put in place right now, is no longer the way it used to be in the past. I'm sure in the past, hardly a day passed by without hearing that 200, 300 of people are being killed, not just kidnapped, but killed. But within the last 6 months, I don't think there was any of such incidents reported in Zamfara State, to the best of my knowledge. So insecurity, yes, it's there, but also we're making conscious effort to make sure we handle that to the best of our ability. And it's an ongoing process. And things are really coming down seriously. So it's just a matter of time. Zamfara will be free of all these kidnapping, banditry, and other criminalities. Based on the action we're taking, based on the mechanism put in place, I believe it's just a matter of time. We'll get over it. I'm confident.
What do you make of the new Chief of Army Staff? And you seem to have had a very good working relationships with the military. Now there is a new man in charge of our army, and it does look like whatever the army is doing in and around Zamfara State, something definitely is working over the past months, because you have reported, you are the one that has talked about how these bandits have turned your state into a slaughter ground and a battleground. But it does look like things are changing for the good. What excites you about the new man at the helm of affairs, and what exactly are you looking forward to?
Well, for me, I'm still looking for that cordial relationship between Zamfara State and the federal government, especially the military. And we will continue to engage them. I haven't seen the new Chief of Army Staff, but I'm making effort to see him probably by next week to discuss issues concerning Zamfara State and the insecurity, and also to be able to explain to him some of the challenges we're facing and see the possibility of continuous collaboration between the state government as well as other security agencies, which includes the military, of course. So I'm planning to see him and then discuss further about Zamfara state insecurity. But like I said, we are making significant progress. Things are really coming down. There is so much economic activities now in Zamfara state, and we are trying to be fair to everyone. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing, and I believe it's just a matter of time. All this banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, and so on and so forth will be history by the grace of God.
I'm bothered about the border and perhaps the loose manner in which people can come in and out of your state, which it's difficult to control considering the massive nature of the borders and the intrusion that we see, coupled with some of also the influence of money from mining that have been reported over the years, that those who say are some of the cause of some of this insecurity in the state. For example, your colleague in Kaduna State has employed a carrot approach in calling some of the leaders of these bandit groups to say, lay down your arms, let's talk, let's judge, and let's have peace. Are you considering that manner of conversation to allow for lasting peace in your territory?
Well, let me make it very clear. We don't have a direct border with any of these countries. Maybe it's only Sokoto and Kebbi that have direct border with Niger and to some extent Chad Republic. And my position has always been very, very clear in terms of negotiation and the nature of negotiation with these bandits. Whatever it is that needs to be done, it has to be very, very holistic. So I'm not into rush in negotiating with these people. Like I maintain my stand, I'm not going to negotiate with any bandit. That has always been my stand, and I'm still on that. I believe you can only negotiate at the point of strength, not at the point of weakness. I'm not a military person or a security expert, but from the little knowledge that I know, you don't negotiate at the point of weakness. You only do that at the point of strength. Now, whatever it is that is going to happen, it has to be very, very holistic. It's not just a one-way thing. If these guys are ready and they lay their arm, that should be a sign of commitment on their part without any, clauses saying that they have to get YZ before I'll be able to do that. So whatever it is, Chairman, it must be very, very holistic. And I say, we have what it takes to be able to secure this country. It's just a matter of that commitment. And I'm sure if we do the right thing, all this banditry and all that criminality will be a matter of history in this country, not just for Zamfara, but all over the country. So, and I'm still on that.
So now, have you were excited in the chase of one of these bandit leaders, but which one of them are you really bothered about? Are you close to arresting or getting hold of some of these bandit leaders?
Within the last 6 months, I can tell you that so many of their kingpins were neutralized. And it's an ongoing process. If we are able to sustain the tempo, believe me, this banditry issue will be history. So we're still on it, and we'll continue to do what we're doing because it's yielding results. I pray that this thing shouldn't last more than, or rather longer than necessary, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
The Sokoto and the Kebbi axis is in the last 3 years has experienced a new cell of terror groups, and the Kukawa group, and I mean you share border with them. You have your state has had a share of this terror in your state. And with your experience and the years of of the menace that these guys have caused on Zamfara, you perhaps will be, you would have had more wisdom in seeing far ahead of what danger these guys portend. Are you working proactively to stop the incursion or the possibility of violence or the kind of intrusion that this group may cause? Because the military said these guys could be very dangerous.
Yeah, Sharon, we are aware of the Lukurawa's presence in part of KB and Sokoto states. And for that, we need to also be proactive in terms of securing the border between Zamfara and Sokoto, as well as between Zamfara and Kebbi State. So we put all the modalities to make sure they did not come into Zamfara State. And I pray and hope that it stays there. And like the military said, I mean, they have the capacity to be able to take care of these people. So I believe, and I believe in them, that they will do that. So let's see what happens within the next couple of days, based on all the assurances from the security forces in terms of taking care of these challenges Sokoto and Kebbi are facing at the moment.
Give me your own view, Governor. I mean, I cannot have this interview without getting your view because you are from the financial sector. The tax reform bills, are you for or against? Do you think that there is a good in it, or what exactly are your views on it?
Well, the tax component has, I mean, the tax issue has a lot of components. There's a good aspect, there's also the bad aspect. So we're studying the situation so as also to advise our people on the way forward. It's an ongoing process, and we'll continue with the engagement.
But I mean, so if you are saying for someone like you who is on that at that level of practice in the financial sector, what good do you think the tax reform bills? Do you think that the president was futuristic in his thinking by bringing up that kind of reforms?
Well, reforms in the system, Sharon, is inevitable, is an ongoing process. And we should always expect reforms. However, in trying to do that, we also need to be careful not to be in a hurry to do something that will later come and hurt us. So for me, I believe we should carefully study the situation and be able to have clear understanding of what it's all about, and then we can take a common stance.
I mean, the way it is right now and the way it's being proposed, will it hurt you? Are you going to find it difficult to pay salary? Just like some of your colleagues, Governor, are saying that it will hurt them if it's being implemented the way it is right now. Which is better, the present state of the tax system in Nigeria or the proposed one?
You know, there's a component of it that is talking about derivation. And if we're to go by that, definitely it is going to affect some of the states in terms of what kind of inflow they have. And invariably, it may make it very, very difficult for some states to be able to pay their salaries. So like I said, it's something that we need to really study carefully and be able to come up with some, way forward. But honestly, if we were to go by what it is, yes, it would be difficult for some states, especially with the issue of this minimum wage. Some states may not be able really to survive. So it is something that must be carefully studied so that we don't hurt ourselves in the long run. I don't think it's something that would not be in a rush. Let it go through the process so that, we don't make mistakes about it.
Now, it looks to me that there are a few things that you are embarking on. Small-scale infrastructure upgrade. You're looking at digital and technology innovation in Zamfara State, and that is also putting the state on the global map. You're also looking at upgrading healthcare facility. All of this you are doing almost at the same time. The fear is that where is this money coming from? Are you borrowing more? You complain that your predecessor has ditched the state in more debt.
Showing, I made it very clear I inherited a very, very dysfunctional state where there was no process in place. I inherited a state that is highly indebted with very, very low or non-existent of infrastructure. I inherited a state that education wasn't given the right attention. The case in point is the fact that we had to settle both WAEC and NACO for a couple of years in order for our students to be able to get their certificates and further their education. It's a state that, if you look at the healthcare system, it was also in a very, very bad state. This is a state also where for more than 11 years, they were unable to pay pension and gratuity to the tune of about 13.6 billion. This is a state where, even where we have comparative advantage in the area of agriculture, we are not making any progress. So with all these multitude issues, and the fact that I still have to pay the debt that we inherited from the previous administration, backlog of salaries, and so many others. So we have to embark on a new Zamfara. And I'm happy to say that we're able to clear all the backlog in terms of the salaries. As we speak, out of the 13.6 billion of gratuity, we're able to settle 10.5 billion. The remaining balance is about 2 billion, which I believe we'll be able to settle within the next 2 months. This is also a state that, in terms of infrastructure, in the capital, in Gusau, you cannot move on a 200 meters on a very good road. But guess what? The situation is changing. Education. We have done over 350 primary schools across the 14 local government areas. We have done over 200 of secondary school across the 40 local government areas. We're doing capacity building in terms of the teachers. It's one of the reasons why at this stage now, Zamfara, that used to be at the bottom, is now coming number one in so many aspects in the area of education. I'm sure you're aware of the fact that we're winning so many awards within the country. The most recent one was the fact that we won the special schools, what do you call them? We came number 2 after Anambra in the whole country. Zamfara State for the first time now got a position of the best principal in the country. Our children can now go to school. And we're doing all this within the limited resources we receive. As we speak now, we have not borrowed a dime from any financial institution. It's still from what we're able to get from FAC allocation. And guess what? Our internally generated revenue has moved from 19 million that used to be in the past to over 2 billion on a monthly basis. So these are significant progress, and the dynamics are changing.
Well,
things are getting better.
Yeah, Governor, we need to close.
So much
but
in the area of agriculture by giving incentives to farmers.
But Governor, we need to close. I know that Zamfara State is an agrarian area, but a lot of people will worry about what impact it will have on the average person, and perhaps the activities that recently you've launched, how more food will come into the state. But quickly, there are those who are concerned. For example, I have someone here who says that he's being on a scholarship in India under the previous administration. Now himself and his colleagues have finished and graduated with good grades, but Unlike Cyprus, there is no reason for delay or denial of payment of their tuition fee. Tuition fees on one hand, and some of them are stranded. And these are some for our citizens that are sent on a scholarship outside of the country. Just in 30 seconds so that we can close. You may answer.
Okay, let me tell you, we were able to settle India completely. We're able to settle Sudan completely. And most of these students are back in Nigeria. The only place where we have issues in Cyprus, and that is more like a scam, because the school authority is still not giving us the right attention in terms of even what we owe. We settled about 200,000 euro in the first instance, and we made another payment of 100,000 euro. And it's issue of reconciliation. The school are not forthcoming with the actual figure we owe. And this has been the issue. And we made it very, very clear that with the limited resources we have, we cannot continue to waste money. So we need the actual balance. Once we have that, it's a matter of time we settle like every other institution.
We're totally out of time, Governor Lawal. But thank you so much for your time tonight. I appreciate it. Well, that's our show tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimbale. God bless Nigeria.